Today I am sharing my love story of how I met my soldier and finding love over the age of 40. Hello amigos and welcome back. We are still in the month of Loveuary since we have just recently celebrated Valentine's Day. I thought it would be fun to share my love story with you. My husband was actually watching a TV show the other day. As the celebrities were coming on the TV show, they would ask them, especially if they were a celebrity that was married, they were saying, okay, it's the month of February, so we're asking, our guests to share their love story. When I heard that, I thought that's actually really a rather fun idea, especially since we are still in the month of Loveuary. And I've never really done a Q&A, and I know typically these types of videos do not get a lot of views or a lot of likes. Pretty much those of you who are watching are truly my subbies. So I'm doing this for you. Being an Army wife, I thought it'd be kind of fun just to share my love story of how I met my soldier, and wanted to just go ahead and just do this fun video to tell you a little bit about that. I have some pictures here in the background and just tell you a little bit of how we met and also some lessons learned in finding love over the age of 40, because we can, amigas, we can definitely find love at any age. I hope you will enjoy my love story and some lessons learned. So salud, amigos. I actually have a little love story book that I actually made for my husband, so I will share some pictures with you. So this is our little love story book. My husband and I were actually introduced to one another through a mutual friend. It was somebody that I had known through church. She was a sister in Christ. One day out of the blue, my friend happens to send me a text message and says, hey, I have a friend who is Hispanic. He's in his 40s, never been married, no children, military, works for this company for over 20 years. And would you be interested in meeting him? I actually was previously married prior to meeting my husband. So at this point, I had already been divorced a couple of years. I had plenty of time to have time for myself before I moved on to another serious relationship. My friend had said, both of you have a very fun, quirky personality, and I think the two of you would, get along really well. And she had said, I did not introduce you to him, previously when I first met you. She says, because you were already married at the time. She was, but now you're divorced and you've had enough time on your own. She was, and he's at a good place to where I think now is a really good time for you two to meet. So we actually met in August of 2013, and we hit it off really, really well. He was very nice, very cordial. We got along. One of the things right off the bat that I enjoyed about him was that he and I speak English and Spanish in the same sentence. And that's just, I think, rather typical of how we are here in Texas, being Tejanos. And when we say Tejanos, it's because we are born here in Texas, but our parents or our family are from Mexico. And so our language and how we speak is a lot of Tex-Mex. It's kind of mixed. But just in how we grew up, it's very common for us to speak English and Spanish in the same sentence. And so that's actually what I loved about him right off the bat. He had a really nice, fun personality. After I met David, I would hear from him every now and then, not like all the time. It was very sporadic. So it wasn't consistent with me chit-chatting with him. And so I thought, okay, well, this is nothing serious. It's not like we're constantly speaking with one another or going out. So I just kept the doors open, and I would go out, if the opportunity, presented itself. And it went on like that, amigas, for several months, because we met in August. And out of the blue, he would just call every now and then and say, oh, I'm working today, I'm listening to the Hana music, I'm thinking of you. Random, like random. I'm thinking, this dude must think that like we're dating, and we're not. We are not dating. In my mind, we're not dating. And it was like that. And so it was really, really strange. For me, I just found it really funny. And then one time he sent me out of the blue to the office an edible arrangement. And I'm like, okay. But hadn't heard from him, spoken to him in like weeks, maybe a few months prior to that. So I was like, thank you very much. You got the, thank you. I got this nice treat, appreciate it, and it was like, okay, yeah, we'll get together. Y así quedó. And I wouldn't hear from him again. I remember all of a sudden on Valentine's Day, I get this message that I needed to go to the warehouse. Okay. So I walk all the way over there to our receiving department, and here's this long box. And so I walk all the way back to my building, and I'm opening it up, and there's these long stemmed roses, a box of chocolates, a dark teddy bear. Like I say, he gives me dark teddy bears, and then a vase. I had to put the arrangement together and he doesn't live that one down. I thought, I haven't spoken to him in forever, and all of a sudden I get this random gift. I texted him and said, thank you very much. I appreciate the gift. Let me know when you're available. It'll be nice to just catch up again, yada, yada. David said, yes, that'll be great. Right now, I'm just transitioning. At the time, he had gotten a promotion to an E8, so as a first sergeant, and he was changing units. He was going to a battalion level. He was like, we'll keep in contact. And I was like, okay. A couple of weeks passed by and hadn't heard from him. I met my friend that introduced us. She was like, come meet us for drinks. We're getting together, the sisters from our little church group. I'm there enjoying myself with them, and all of a sudden he shows up. And she had called him and said, you better get your butt down here because she is here. And if you don't come and see her and talk to her, she told him, you are going to lose her. So you need to get over here today. And he happened to have just had like surgery on one knee. And he's like, I'm like not even really, getting around, as well. And she was like, I don't care. You get down here. It's just down the street. And so he showed up, and we, had our time there chit-chatting at the restaurant. And then when he walked me to my vehicle and we were talking, I said, listen, if you want this to work, you need to make the effort. I need to hear from you more often if you're really serious about this. So at least like check in with me like once a week. Don't go weeks, don't go months or anything like that, in such a long time of a stretch. And he was like, okay, I'll be more consistent. And so he did. He would start to like text me like every day. And at the time, he had gotten the promotion to the first sergeant rank, and then he's trying to finish college to graduate with his bachelor's. So it was a busy time for him. It wasn't until March of 2014 when we officially began to date and really, speak to one another on the phone, go out, see one another like on the weekends, and during the week we wouldn't see one another. We started off by either like Saturday or Sunday, and typically we would meet at church. We would attend mass, and then we would, go out for lunch or dinner, just depending on what time we would see one another. He was really good in texting, and I am one I need to actually speak to you. I'm not about all of this texting back and forth. I need to hear your voice. I need to hear how you speak. I need to hear how you speak to me and engage with me. It's fine if you need to text really, really quick, but especially in the beginning of a relationship, for me, what I want is I want that person to take the time to actually call me and talk to me. I actually had to tell him this is how it needs to be. When we officially began dating, I told him, I have a 90-day rule, right? So you are on a 90-day probationary period. So just like that book from Steve Harvey, what is it? Think Like a Man, Act Like a Woman, something like that. It's the Love in 90 Days, and there's actually a book called Love in 90 Days, to where you put this person that you were dating on a 90-day probationary period. My husband thought I was crazy, and I was like, I've already learned in previous relationships that I need to take my time and really get to know the person that I am with. It's the same thing like when we start a new job, right? We're put on a probationary period. Are you gonna come in to work every day? Are you gonna show up on time? Are you gonna do what you say you're going to do? Are you gonna get along well with others? You know, and so it's the same thing when you are meeting somebody and engaging with them and getting to know them, getting to know their background, how they're going to treat you, how you're going to engage with them, how do they engage with others, and get to know like them and their history and all of that, and just really take that time to go slow to where you become friends and really enjoy each other's company to where you like being with this person. Because when you move too fast, amigos, you start to get into that infatuation period. It's like a lot of lust, and that kind of skews, for me and my opinion, truly how you are in really liking this person for who they are, what they represent, and what they're all about. And he will tell you to this day that it was the best thing that we ever did, that by him following it. He would come over and we would just chit chat for a long time in person and just talk and speak and learn his history, how he grew up and how I grew up. And that's what we enjoyed about one another, was that we were very, very similar. We grew up with a very strong spiritual background because of how our mothers and our grandmothers were, and just having that very strong spiritual foundation, and just the morals and the values of how we grew up and being hardworking. And I truly, truly enjoyed that time period and getting to know him. After truly, officially, like truly dating for over a month, he told me that he loved me. And at that point, I wasn't ready to say I love him, because I was still being very cautious and taking my time, especially because of what I learned in my first marriage. He was like, what is it gonna take for you to fall in love with me? And I said, well, you need to court me. I wanna be courted. And so he was like, okay. A man courting a woman, being chivalrous, that is really getting lost nowadays. And it's unfortunate. I had to kind of tell him, if you are serious, then I want to be courted. You open the door for me, the car door, you open the doors at the restaurant, you pull out the chair, you know, you treat me very, very well. He paid for everything. There was none of this, oh, let's split the check. You know, oh, I got it this time, you got it last time. No, it was like back old school, like when our parents were dating and the gentleman was courting the lady that they wanted to be with and marry. And that's how it was. And he did that. He made the effort and to, you know, fulfill what I had asked. And I just thought that was very, very, you know, special and very kind. And that just set him apart from everybody else. We were going towards like the fall of 2014. And at that point, we started to kind of like look for rings. And this is really funny. We got the ring, and okay, I was like, holidays are coming up. He'll probably like propose sometime soon. And Thanksgiving went by. And then I remember we went to his company's Christmas party. The employer that he was at, they are very well known for having these really big Christmas parties that the whole city knows about. He decided to wear his uniform. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is gonna be perfect, right? I was like, oh, how nice. He'll be in his uniform if he ends up, you know, proposing, because I knew he had the ring. We go to the party, come back home, nada. And I was like, okay, Christmas comes and goes, New Year's comes and goes, and Valentine's came and went. And then he had another opportunity to where they had a banquet, like with the military. Again, everybody had to go dressed to the nines, right? Like in their formal uniform, like you see back here. And like in my mind, this is the perfect time. He's got his uniform, y todo. It would have been nice in the uniform, right? Like in Officer and a Gentleman, it comes in his uniform and whisks her off, and you're like, way to go, Paula, way to go. Nada. So I was like, okay, these are two opportunities where it would have been really, really nice to have him propose in uniform, and nothing. I remember one Sunday we went to Mass. So we walk out of church and he takes me around to the back, and they have a really pretty grotto with our Blessed Mother. And so we're walking up there. He's like, come on, let's go pray real quick or something. And so there at the grotto in front of the Blessed Mother is where he ended up proposing to me. For me, that was just very special for him to do that, because of the fact that he and I do have a very strong spiritual, connection, and just of how we were brought up. So I just thought that was very, very beautiful for him to do that there in front of the Blessed Mother. After he ended up proposing to me, he actually ended up going out of town. Ever since we officially started to date, since he had just gotten that promotion, my husband was constantly traveling. He was always having to be gone for something, to get ready for annual training or whatever, and he would be gone for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time. So he was always like traveling. And so then after he proposed, they were like, okay, we're gonna finally send you officially to First Sergeant Academy. So, and that was a month. That training was a whole month. And so we knew we didn't want to do anything like really, really big. At our age, we were like, we just want it to be about us. We just want to get married. And so he said, okay, let's just plan a vacation destination, and I just want it to be us. My husband and I have actually been married 3 times to one another. So since he was gone to the First Sergeant Training Academy, he came back. He flew home after being gone for 4 weeks. I had been planning everything. So he arrives home. The next day, we get married civilly in the court, because we wanted our parents to be there with us and witness us getting married, because they weren't going to be able to travel with us to our vacation destination. We get married, and then literally I think like the next day or 2 days later, we end up flying out to Nassau to Sandals, and then we spend the first couple of days planning everything. And so we're there for a week. We get married on Cinco de Mayo. We have our wedding moon in the Bahamas, come back and begin our wedded, married life. And then in 2016, he ends up getting deployed, and he was like, this is my one last hurrah. I just want one final tour. He goes, because I know my time is coming pretty soon. And so I was like, God, we just got married. We had only been married a year. While he was deployed from 2016 to 2017, we knew we wanted to get married through the Catholic Church, because we, in order for us to receive communion, we actually had to be married through the church. I actually had to get my first marriage annulled. So it took a whole year in order to go through the whole annulment process. And so that got completed, and it was done by the time he came home. And so then we ended up getting married the 3rd time on Cinco de Mayo 2018. We ended up having just an intimate dinner with, really strictly family and just a few friends here and there. A few things that attracted me to my husband is, number one, he's quite the philosopher. I clearly remember one day when he and I were driving out to the winery. We were having a conversation, and he said, well, haven't you ever heard of the Mexican crab theory? And he started to explain it. It's also known as like the crab mentality. I said, I've never heard of that, but that really makes a lot of sense. And just the way he would think about things really just reminded me a lot of my dad. And that's just really what attracted me, was because of the fact that he would take time to just speak to me, and when he's speaking to me, he's really like zoning in on you. At the same time that he's listening to you and talking to you, my husband reads people. So he will read someone and get their vibe as to how they are, and try and really tune in as to whether you are having a good day, a bad day, and what type of a person you are. And he can quickly tell, like, this person's good peeps, this person, no, they're not somebody that I want to engage in, or I'm going to have very minimal contact with. So he is constantly always reading people. That's just how he is, and that's just how he operates and how he thinks. He has bionic ears, this man. He is picking up conversations from everybody around us, the table behind us, to the side, to this side, to the front. He's listening in on everybody's conversation, and he's just constantly looking out. And that's a lot, you'll find that with a lot of military. They have to like look out. They need to see out. They have to face the door. They have to face out like the window. Their back cannot be to the window or to the door. They constantly need to be on alert. So he's constantly listening, and he's constantly looking out. He has this fun, quirky ways about him, and he calls them his husbandisms. So especially for people that are single, right? He's like, there's a difference between a lost cat and then a stray cat. He's like, a lost cat is just innocent. He just hasn't found the right one. He's like, but a stray cat, he's like, he's an alley cat. The alley cats, you need to be careful, because they're the ones that, you know, they're searching for milk, and they're gonna find the first person that's gonna give it to them, because they're there, you know, and they're gonna go to the person that's gonna give them the milk and feed them, and he's gonna be with them for as long as he can, take what he can, and then if that person happens to shoo them out, throw them out, he's gonna go and find the next one. And it's just a continuous cycle. So he's like, that's the difference between your stray cat and then your lost cat. He goes, I was a lost cat. He says, I was innocent and I just hadn't found the right person. And he's very much a problem solver. So you have a problem, okay, come to me and we're gonna fix it. Let's see what we can do. I'll fix it for you. Let's come up with a solution. And that's just what I loved about him. Truly, truly loved about him. Being, you know, educated, and just a very wonderful spirit, a wonderful, godly man. And that was what truly, truly attracted me to him. Some of the lessons that I've learned in relationships and finding love is that I need to trust my gut. Just trust your gut instinct, because that's the Holy Spirit talking. The person that you are going to marry and spend the rest of your life with needs to be your friend, and you need to like them. Number one rule is to like the person. Genuinely like the person, and that's where the 90-day rule comes into play. And making sure that this person that is going to be by your side till the end of time, until the end of your time, is truly your friend first and foremost. Because yes, we can love the person, but before we love, we need to like, and like who they are. I knew in my heart that I married the right person that was compatible for me, and that was going to be, that is truly, truly the soulmate that I was to be with for my lifetime here on this earth. He and I met when I was 40, and we started to date when I was 41. My husband is 3 years older than me, so we met later in life. A beautiful friend of mine from the Valley that I met her in college, she would tell me, she says, Amiga, pray for your soulmate every night. Pray for him. Pray that God protect him and keep him safe wherever he may be, and that when you are both ready, that he bring the two of you together, but that he bless and protect him until that time comes. I do believe that when two hearts are ready, when the hearts are open and you are ready to receive that love, that is when your soulmate will come. And that's how I believe it was for us. For me, I had taken the time that I needed after ending my first marriage, and I was already happy and content. I did not feel that I needed to have somebody in my life to make me happy. I was perfectly fine being on my own. And I was already a self-made, self-funded Latina. If I met somebody, it was just going to be like the cherry on top of the cake, right? Like if I met somebody, fine, but I was truly, truly content. And it was just truly a blessing meeting my husband. And I'll never forget, my mom would always tell me that before my dad passed away, he told her, no matter what happens and no matter where I go, he said, I will always look out for both of you and make sure that you are very well taken care of. My dad truly has taken care of us. I've been a proud Army wife for almost 9 years. He's been in the military for 36 years and 1 month. And there's a lot of miles on those tires, so to speak. He just said, it's time for me to go ahead and hang it up. And he was actually invited into the Sergeant Major Academy for him to be promoted into an E9. And he said that would require a few more years. He said, if I was in my 40s, I would do it. But at 53, he said, no, I'm ready to hang it up. It's time for me to fix things that I need to fix for myself so that we can be able to travel once again and he can truly enjoy retirement. He was working for a very well-known financial insurance company as a claims adjuster for 27 years. He retired from that last year, and now after 36 years, he's going to be retiring from the military at the end of the month. We are in a good position for him to be able to retire and not worry, and he's deserved it. Truly blessed, truly grateful to have a beautiful and wonderful godly man by my side that is just a wonderful friend that I love, respect, and admire. He's my soldier who's my battle buddy, as he says. He's like, I've got your six, and he just looks out for everything. And it's just truly a blessing to come home to someone and you can just chit chat, talk about your day. And it's just a blessing, truly a blessing to have him by my side. And I look forward to him retiring and getting better so we can just travel and see the world. And we're able to do that. Thankfully, we are in a good place. Unfortunately, we never had any children. So in this lifetime, we just have this very sassy diva dog that just keeps us on our toes. And she is just a lot of fun. We crack up with her every day. And in this lifetime, we're just enjoying one another. So that's my love story of how I met my soldier. I hope you enjoyed it. For those of you that are single and searching for that wonderful soulmate to share your life with, I pray that you will find them soon and that you both be truly blessed and protected until that time comes when your two hearts are ready to be joined together. And many blessings to those of you that are married, continued blessings upon your marriage. Thank you for spending part of your day and allowing me to share my love story with you. I hope to see you back here for my next video. Have a beautiful and wonderful, blessed day. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And I will go ahead and link some videos here, so this way you can go ahead and watch those if you've got a few more minutes to spare. Many blessings to all of you as we close out this month of Loveuary. Hasta la próxima. Until next time, goodbye.